I will, there we go. I'll get rid of speaking. Okay. Hello, Angela.
Hello, are we live? No, eh?
We're live. Yes,
okay.
we're live.
Good.
All right.
Just a gentle reminder, make sure that we are all in the English channel. The interpreter is feature is already on, Angela.
So tomorrow, let me see if I can do this. I know it's
I accepted. Thank you.
I'm working on a new studio. I've got all the equipment. Now I just need the time to set the equipment up. You probably all know how that goes. Okay, so these are the colors we're going to look at today. Tomorrow, our artist is Dante Pajeo. He'll be with us tomorrow. Dino is a phenomenal artist. He's a brand ambassador. He does wonderful, wonderful portraits. So if you want to go to his site, which should be up right now, you can see his work, which is great. These are the colors we're going to look at today. Gabriel was talking about cerulean blue and how much he likes that. It's in the boat behind his shoulder. So we will look at that. I also picked out, these are 18 colors. I picked out probably 3/4 of these as sticks. So we'll see them as tube and we'll see them as stick. And then if we have enough time, I have some powdered paint. It's kind of a new thing I'm working on, and I was going to show you a couple colors. All right. So if we have time, we'll do that too. All right, I'm going to flip this around. I may lose some of you if I do this. I'll do it carefully. I have here in Washington, we have Comcast. So I have Comcast down the street, and they seem to be working on something, and I've already lost my connection twice today. So if it goes out, it will be because they hit a cable or something magical that they do. Okay. Push this to the side. These in. All right, so we'll start. So we're going to see alizarin crimson. And the sticks, I have both the alizarin and the permanent because I wanted to show you both in the sticks. And this is Cad Orange U. Carbazole Violet. Cerulean Blue. Cobalt Blue. Hello, Claudia. Hematite Genuine. I'll get that on my fingers. Green. The last one is going to be able to fit. Hello, Dan from Nashville. Welcome. Hello, Sweden. When Robert is from the Del Tuscany. That must be gorgeous. Okay, so this is what we're going to start with. Let's see if we can raise this up a little bit. There we go. So that's what we're going to start with. Alizarin Crimson, Cad Orange U, Carbazole Violet, Cerulean Blue, Cobalt Blue, Hematite Genuine, Hooker's Green, and Imperial Purple. Hello, Anika. Hello, Jennifer. And then Chris is from France. Awesome. So, and these are, if you didn't hear, these are from Dino. Dino will be the presenter tomorrow. Brand ambassador, phenomenal artist, does great portraits. That's sizing in the paper. It's kind of interesting to me. Tilt this a little bit more. There we go. That's the alizarin crimson. Alizarin crimson is a coal tar derivative. It's one of only two fugitive colors that we have, that and offer pink. And I will show you in the sticks the permanent version of alizarin crimson. So I did pick out watercolor sticks as well. So I have almost all the colors as sticks as well. So we'll play with that a little bit. This is the Cad Orange U. And we know we stopped Cads probably 7 years ago. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. Kathleen says, hi from Leander, Texas. Leander, Texas, almost Austin. My watercolor students love watching you and tell me thank you that I insist on using Daniel Smith paint. Thank you so very much. This is Carbazole Violet. So it's interesting because Dino does a lot of different paintings, but does really gorgeous portraits. I think whether I should use a different piece of paper. So this is an imperfection of the sizing right here. Some people call it the paper takes a vacation. So if you look, sometimes it's you can see it on the front side. Sometimes when you wet your paper and you reverse it, you can see the water kind of like a water stain, and that's because the sizing isn't enough. So it's kind of interesting. So Carbazole Violet. Hello, Mark. Hello, Barbara. So this is one that Gabriel used in the painting behind him in places anyway. He used a couple of different colors together. So this is the cerulean blue. Lobel, Lo Shabanji from Dallas. So this is a nice place. I will be in Dallas in September. So that is cobalt blue. Cobalt blue. This is hematite. So hematite's kind of neat because it has that kind of faint yellowish to it, which you can actually see break out as it dries. You can see it along the edges as it dries. But it's a really good granulator. I'll be there for the Fort Worth Watercolor Society. This is Hooker's Green. Oh, what paper? I'll show you. It generally, I've in the last probably year and a half, I've been using this paper. I've done probably thousands of sheets. I've only seen that a couple of times. So their paper usually is very good. So it's Legion. So it's Stonehenge made by Legion paper, and it's 140-pound cold press. But I think this, this is not characteristic of their paper. Everybody has a bad day. This piece of paper just had a bad day. And the last is Imperial Purple, which is really. So Imperial Purple. Yeah, it's 140-pound cold press paper. So
all those colors just look so nice and light, just like full of air.
it's interesting, it's not what I would think for doing portraits, and Dino's portraits are just gorgeous. I'm always amazed about the different colors you choose as artists for your palette. And I'm sure he uses way beyond this as well. These are just from his dot card. Would you like to see any of them mixed?
Yes, can you mix the hematite with the cerulean?
Absolutely. Shivanji, what purple is that? It's Imperial Purple. Right here, this is Imperial Purple. So I'm gonna get the hematite.
There's so much red in it. Is that really the way it is, or is it just my screen?
I think it's a screen. So it's kind of interesting. So this
Actually,
is
I personally love the Imperial Purple because it does break. It's made with, I believe, ultramarine blue and then quinacridone red, and it breaks that way.
You are absolutely
And
right. That's correct.
it's fabulous. It's my purple.
So you just want me to
Have to
mix
get some now.
the hematite into the cerulean? Just mix it in. Gabriel?
Do it right on the paper.
Okay.
So move your paper over the we can't see it. There you go. And then do you have a sprayer nearby? You can spray it.
I've learned from all of you to have a sprayer nearby, so I have one right here.
All right.
And you want me
It's
to
pretty.
hold it to the side like this and do it?
Yeah, there you go. Nice. Look at that.
Look at that purple go too.
Yeah. So you can see the red within the quinacridone. So it's a quinacridone red, as was said, with the ultramarine blue. You guys are good.
That's some cool metal looking something or other.
It almost looks like this almost looks like a sodalite.
Ooh.
Yeah.
you know, it has that kind of neat granulation to it, and it has, I don't find kind of the black, but right in here, that kind of looks like sodalite. Pretty. And there, as the hematite starts to dry, you can see kind of the outer edges has, it's almost like an aged kind of yellow to it, like a yellowy book. You can kind of see it in here, which is kind of cool.
I'm definitely adding that to my arsenal because I typically use the hematite burnt scarlet
Oh,
genuine.
yes.
I like using that and mixing that to get granulation into like my cobalt or cerulean. If I don't want to mix ultramarine to get that whole cool gray thing going on. But if I'm wanting a warmer gray, like more yellowy, I think I'm gonna try that just hematite on its own.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like it. I also like the hematite violet.
Yeah, the hematites are they're interesting. Even the bloodstone, which is a hematite. And heme is blood, so. So Bell says, has anyone sprayed the paint with rubbing alcohol? It's instead of water for an effect. Hello, Victoria. Clean. But I've seen some of the colors are just, especially transparent ones. If I don't, you can see the trilling of the previous color. That actually turns out really nice. Come on. There we go. So this is isoindolin yellow. It's kind of like school bus yellow. New Gamboge. It's a pretty color. And it's gray. It's going to be phthalo blue green shade. Phalos are super strong. Prussian blue. Pearl orange. Quinacridone deep gold. Sap green. So about the question about the alcohol, Dan says, I have, and it's a very cool effect. Did it on some sailboats for my sister's lake cottage once. Entirely different than water. This is the isoindolin. isoindolent yellow. This is going to be the new gamboge. Gamboge. This one's way more, yeah, it's very close on the screen. Much more orange than this one.
So the first one is the deep gold quinacridone.
It's isoindolent yellow,
Oh, okay.
and the pigment is isoindolent yellow.
Okay. Got it. And then new gamboge.
A new gamboge.
Cool.
So new gamboge is iridescent yellow and isoindolent yellow. It has isoindolent yellow in it, along with iridescent yellow. Okay, the next one is Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray is a very popular color. So we have Payne's Gray and Payne's Blue Gray. This is Payne's Gray. Well, we can mix those around as well. Turn on the Misha. Turn on the chat so I can see from this side. So this is going to be the phthalo. So this is the phthalo blue, and this is the green shade. You kind of expect a phthalo, they're just really super strong. So this is Prussian blue. Prussian blue. It's actually much more darker than the phthalo.
Yeah, I noticed you had the phthalo blue as a stick, but I was surprised there wasn't a Prussian blue as a stick.
You know, it's for the sticks, we only came out with 51 colors. Probably we're going to add some more.
But they're so close.
They are. So this is the pyro orange. It's very vibrant. So this is going to be the this is going to be the, I'll move it over so you can see it. It's going to be the Quin Gold Deep.
I love that color. I just used that for like a morning sky in this painting here.
Oh yeah, very cool. Then we have the last one. Before I refresh, it's going to be the sap green. So sap green. So the quinacridone deep is quinacridone gold and nickel azo yellow. And the sap green is quinacridone gold, nickel azo yellow, and phthalocyanine green. kind of cool. Let's see, get rid of this. So Kathleen Kilgore says, I call New Gamboge electric yellow so my students can picture how I've taught them to use it. Wonderful addition to our palette.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Why did you choose quinacridone gold over an ochre red or a pigment red 101 in making your sap green? Thank you.
That would be my chemist. That'd be Ron. And Ron going through and, you know, he just he works with artists and listens to feedback. So that would be a choice that he would have made. Okay, so we have 2 left. Are there any of those you wanted to see?
John, one more question. The sap green and the quinacridone deep gold are both mixes. Do either of them break in color sprays so that you see some of those other color elements? Or do they stay all, are they mixed so finely they stay all complete?
So I have not seen that. Not like a Cascade green and some of the other colors where they will, or where you can actually see some breakage. I don't see that
Okay.
with them. But that all depends on how much water you would have. It depends on how they're bound. The Cascade will actually, even though it's one pigment, it's co-precipitate, is meant to come apart.
Right.
I can play with these, so I can add a bunch of water to it. Let's just add a bunch of water to it. So I would say no. But that would really take, you know, playing with it. That's a bunch of water.
Is that a smooth paper or is it cold press?
It's cold press. It's
Okay.
140-pound cold press.
John, can I see what it looks like if you just spray if you hold that just on a tilt and just spray those last 3 colors, the sap green, the queen gold, and the orange pyro?
Yeah.
You could just spray those just as they sit right now. Down towards the bottom. Yeah. Just really saturate that paper. Really good. There it goes. It's starting to glow. All 3 of them are starting to glow. Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. It's so cool the way the line is so tight. There's no spidering. You're very welcome. Let's see.
Your table looks like an artist studio now.
Oh, you should have seen the, I moved in October of last year, but prior, the rug I had in the other house was just, I had to get rid of the rug. It just was covered with paint. So we're gonna look at some of the sticks. We have 2 more left, and we'll look at some of the sticks, and then look at some of the powdered paint.
It kills me to see you wipe away all that paint. I keep wanting to tell you, get another palette.
That's one of the questions that each one of you asked during the demonstration, and I've written down to ask the artists each time is, to see their palette, and boy, it's amazing how different they are from each artist. It's kind of cool. Okay. So the last 2 we have as tubes are going to be that serpentine. The yellow ochre. If I put one more, it'll focus. The last color. Last color is going to be the yellow ochre. Last color from the tubes will be yellow ochre.
Serpentine and sap cream are very much different.
They are. In fact, I'll put the yellow ochre over here.
I really like the how the yellow ochre and the Quinn gold, they play well.
So serpentine, and this is the sap green.
So as watercolorists, we work from light to dark, as opposed to acrylics and oils, they work from dark to light. And so I prefer to work lighter with at times a lot of pigment. And so if I want to shift and get it cooler or darker, add either a more pigment, less water, or add a cooler color. And so there's times where my first wash will be with the Quinn, and then I'll go with my second wash more pigment with than the yellow ochre, or vice versa. Depends on what the subject matter is.
Oh, very cool.
And I'm excited to see this demo tomorrow because I got a good feeling he shows, like, in his work he gets so much out of the pigment with the water and paint.
Have you watched him? Have you watched his videos?
No.
He's such a good artist. So Dino's from the Philippines. His training, you can ask him, his training is in architecture. I'm gonna put those away. Let's see. So, time. So I brought some of the sticks as well. So,
Do you make undersea green in a stick?
see green. Tell you.
Yes,
The answer is yes.
definitely.
Whoever said that, thank you.
My favorite.
Me too. And serpentine comes in a stick as well.
Serpentine we're going to see. That we'll start with serpentine as that. So these are, my sticks are all dirty because they live with each other and they kind of rub off on each other. So let's see what so any of the Primitex, anything with a mica, for example, are going to pack tight. So you would need to wake those up to the extent that you want to wake them up. Quinacridons, phthalos, pyrroles, parallenes are almost going to be instantaneous. There's the serpentine.
It's a beauty.
It was neat. And I brought almost all the colors. So let's see another one. This is sap green. I think one of a reason that I think people like artists like the sticks is you can take off the amount you want to take off the stick. The sticks are really heavy, have a heavy load of pigment. So it's how much you want to take off that kind of defines it. You can just keep on taking it off. And you can do the white into white if you want. So we can do a phthalo, and phthalos. They're just going to be really, really quick. And they're just loaded. It's awesome. So they're just super, super bright, super quick. So we do the pyroll. So this is the pyroll. So we expect the pyrolls to also do it quickly and be very bright as well. Anything when I watched Giovanni do it, I mean, if you have a really steady hand and a really good brush, you know, you could do any type of line that you wanted to. So it's kind of neat. It's just another way to have a color in your hand to do kind of whatever you choose to do with it. We don't have the Cerulean in a stick, but we have the Cerulean Blue Chromium. So I thought I would show you this Cerulean Blue Chromium.
Oh,
So this is the Cerulean Blue Chromium. And I'm talking about the stick. I mean, you could put it, Gabriel earlier was talking about a pencil sharpener. You can find contractor sharpeners for the big, thick pencils, and do shavings. You can do all types of stuff. It's really just how creative you want to be and what it is you want to do.
John, I use a mini zester. Took me a long time to find it. I think I finally got it at Target, but you can shave, you know, make little like lemons.
Oh, awesome.
You use the stick zest.
Oh, neat. I think Elisa, Gabriel, and Letizia were talking about potato peelers, but that's interesting. Did you hear that, Gabriel, about the zester?
Yeah. I was, thinking about making some of them on one end like a chisel, almost like where in school we had to do this like calligraphy class and this special nib that was like this shape for the calligraphy. So I can have two nice points, but I can also, if I need to go and just put in like a nice little chunk, I can.
Cool.
Because I mean, you could just go ahead and just dip that right in the water and put it right to paper, the stick.
Yep.
Way more, this is Imperial Purple, way more purple here in front of me than it is on the screen. It's very blue on the screen. It's my camera. So I did want to show you, this is some of these two, and then we'll look at some powdered pigment. So this is the Alizarin Crimson stick.
I think that stick will outlast my lifetime.
You know, the sticks are just, they're unbelievably, only way you can really hold them together is the amount of pigment. So they're loaded. They're really, really, really loaded. So that is the Alizarin Crimson. And then I want to show you the permanent.
And one stick is 3 pans, is that correct?
One stick is 3 full pans. So, double the size of the half pan.
Nice.
Mhm. Okay, so alizarin crimson, permanent alizarin crimson. Depends on kind of which one you want to use, and then you also have the new gamboge. I'll do the new gamboge, and then you can look at
And there is a pyrrole orange too.
yeah, the pyrrole orange we did. That's pyrrole orange.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you can decide what kind of shade you want, etc. Whether you want to go into I think another way that I've seen it mix is not just, do it on your paper, but you can put it on a piece of UPO or a piece of plastic and just really work the color to any concentration you want. So lots of different
Techniques.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. I've watched Giovanni. It was awesome to see Rajat with all of his fingers, having all of the sticks in his fingers. I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. So there are other, almost all the sticks that are four aren't made for sticks of what Dino has, but so you have kind of your choice. You can do, there's also in pans, there's in sticks, there's in 5. Giovanni has in his hands. So kind of just more versatility. I think the more power the artist has, the better. I mean, that's that. Let's take a look at these real quick. So I'll tell you before I start this, I am going to put a mask on because whenever I deal with powders, I wear a mask. Which in the days we're living right now, it's no big thing because we all have masks. So I'm going to put one on and get an extra sheet of paper. I'm going to use actually, that's the ones I brought to show you are going to be the luminescent. I'm going to put on black paper. So put a mask on. Mask. Okay. So I brought 5. We'll look at 5.
Are these available to the public?
No.
Or you're just going to tease us.
No, just something we're playing with right now. So I wanted to show you. So this is Aztec Gold. It's an iridescent. And this is going to be Aztec Gold in powder. So it's just kind of how you, if you want to play, it's a powder, so you can sprinkle it. I'll show a couple here. So.
Is that the gold that's in the ground?
Not the Aztec. No. So as this dries, it's going to become more vibrant as it dries because of the mica. The water is going to evaporate off. What you're going to see is the pigment, and the pigment here for the most part is going to be mica, and then how that mica sits within the actual pigment, whether it's going to refract light or whether it's going to reflect light. So get some clean water. So if you use a 15 mil tube, you could probably get what, very close to 3 full pans. What you get from squeezing material from a tube is not equal to what we have in our pans. And that's because when you're filling up a pan, you're not getting rid of the moisture. And the only way to get rid of the moisture is to evaporate it at each level. Otherwise, it still has, it might feel hard to you, but if you tested it, we test everything, it's going to have moisture in it way in excess of what we have in a pan. But will it work for you? Yep, it'll work. You can do that. But it's apples and oranges. The sticks go through several weeks of dehydration. They start off about the size of a good sized rope and take several weeks to dehydrate them. Pans take even longer to do. Now you don't have to do that. You can actually go and put from a 15 mil, you can fill up your own pan, but it's not the same in terms of concentration as the pans that we're selling. Okay. So this is the Aztec Gold, and I'll show you the Aztec Gold in powder. So the powder, we're really using the powder in terms of doing effects. So it's whether you're putting it on something else. It's going to be more concentrated than a tube by far. Again, there's no water. It's going to be much more concentrated. But you can put it into wet. So let's try that too. So, and then if we wet this side here.
Wow.
I put way too much because this is super concentrated. I mean, it's really concentrated. This is going to dry into the pigment. This is already powdered pigment from when I'm starting. So much more concentrated. And you would just take a little bit. I mean, a little bit of this is like it's going to go a long way. And what kind of effects do you want to get?
Wow. I want powder.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said, I want the powder. That's very cool.
Then I had somebody in my office a little while ago and She was playing with it. She was doing stuff with the. So it's just really more of, it's just how creative you want to be. So it's really, it's a super, try that light. It's an iridescent, so kind of want to show you.
So are
It's
the
very-
powders something that you're thinking about putting into manufacturing and selling?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So let's try another one. So this is Iridescent Topaz. So iridescent, it's reflective. With interference, it'd be refractive. And it's loaded with mica. Yeah. I didn't order that fast. Okay. So let me just try just a little tiny bit to start with. There we go. So just a little tiny bit. Little tiny bit. And then we'll sprinkle it. And that's too much. So it's very, very, very concentrated. Let's put it on. So come up with a shaker bottle so it shakes like salt or pepper. Better job of that. Let me show you.
What pigment is that?
This right here is Iridescent Topaz. So Iridescent Topaz. And you'd have more control if it wasn't in a shaker, which it will be. Yes. That's Topaz. And let's try pearlescent.
It looks like lightning.
It does, and I mean, if you wanted to just take a little bit and paint with it, you can certainly do that too. I mean, it'll go into solution very quickly, pretty much instantaneously.
It's beautiful.
So this is, I'm just gonna put some down and then we'll spray it. This is going to be the pearlescent white. Pearlescent white, pearlescent shimmer. This is actually pearlescent white. They're both going to be the same exact pigment. The shimmer is going to be larger. So you can really see the and with the shaker, there'll be way more control. So I just took these from the laboratory. So I'm just going to show you what they look like. So whether you want to put them on or get an effect from it, it can be much more versatile. And then you can, put other colors. See some other colors.
Okay, I got a really silly question. Is there gum Arabic?
Yeah.
What is all right now in the pearlescent powder?
It is the same gum Arabic that's in the sticks, that's in the pans, that's in the powder.
Glad I asked.
Yep. Let's look at one more. Kind of see as it starts to dry. So you can do different effects with it.
I was just gonna ask, can we see the other one it tried?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting in that the luminescents come more alive the drier they get.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same principle with watercolors. Watercolor is one of the few things that you can actually see what the pigment looks like as it dries. If you have an acrylic, it's still within a polymer matrix. You have an oil, it's within a linseed matrix. With watercolor, you have that pigment staying up on top, so you really get to see what it looks like. Okay, let me show you Ruby. We'll do it on this.
And then in watercolor, you're able to celebrate the unique characteristics that are lost when they're suspended in the other matrices.
I think so. I mean, I love all the other ones too. I love oils and I love the acrylics. What people do or artists do are just incredible. But I would have watercolor or oil colorists or acrylic artists come to the presentations just because they want to see what the pigment looks like. I mean, it's a curiosity. I think artists are very curious. And it's really kind of cool to see what those pigments look like. Okay, this is Iridescent Ruby. And then we'll use the ruby powder. So Iridescent Ruby. And it's a big opening to try to, it'd be better to have a little shaker. And that will be there. Do this side. I don't get the same effect out of the two, not like I do from
And the effects with the powder when you spray them are amazing.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
A little bit hard to see because it's wet. When it's dry, it would really, it's gonna pop. Let me just see the dry ones again. So you can see as we start to dry, they really pop. If you use the luminescence, then you can see how much more the load inside the dry is just, it's just mammoth. You know, it's just, you can do the same here. You just have to add more of the watercolor. This is just, the sticks are kind of similar in a way in that there's a huge pigment load to the sticks. Probably Gabriel, you've seen that. And Giovanni, there's just a really heavy pigment load into the sticks. So it's kind of what I wanted to show you. So you're kind of in the know. This is like a swan.
What's your target sale date, John?
You know, I'd have to talk to sales. I get in trouble because I don't talk to sales.
It's like teasing us.
Yeah, it would be next year for sure.
Mhm. Cool.
Neat. So flip this up. Yeah, there's always, whenever you deal with any type of powder, it's just good to have a mask.
Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you for being with me today. So tomorrow, Dino will be with us. Dino's a phenomenal artist. I believe right now his site is on Facebook and it's probably on Instagram if you want to see some of his works. They're beautiful. And I put together a list of questions you've been asking that I will ask him tomorrow. But if you have questions, especially if you're on Zoom, you know, I think the artists really enjoy you interfacing with them. They love to hear your questions. I don't mind relaying your questions, but I think they also really like to hear your voice. I think there's an energy there. And on Facebook, I'm glad to do it for Facebook. I will read your questions for Dino as well. So Dino tomorrow will actually be doing a portrait, which is you know, in the time allotted.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Portrait
thank you
of
for
you?
joining me. I'm sorry, more time.
A portrait of you?
No, I don't think so. No, that'd be ugly.
Just kidding.
So thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate it. It makes the time go. I can't believe it's almost November. My God, we're like 2 weeks away from November. The year's gone by so quick. So thank you for being. It's great to hear you talk. I love to hear your questions. I learned a lot about using spray bottles and adding water to some of my mix. So thank you for all your education, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Now we just got to get you a blow dryer.